Hi, Namaskar. Welcome to the Bootstrap Banter series from Passionate Pulse podcast. I'm your host Pranali, and today we are going to discuss a lot of startup fundas that we always do in the Bootstrap Banter series. So, what's so special today, and what are we going to discuss in this Bootstrap Banter series? Well, these are the own startup fundas that one can absolutely implement in their own side gig through the passion that they want to lead with. And well, the passion power is what we are looking forward to open your new side gigs. And there are important steps and some practical methods of which you want to validate your side gigs through the passion that you want to empower your side gigs through your passion. So there are a lot of fundas that one can absolutely implement in the side gig to make it big, to scale it up, to treat it as a great startup, and even to scale up that startup further. There is a very practical episode that we are going to derive today, and a lot of metrics and tools that we're going to talk today to measure whether your product is resonating with the market through the side gig that you're implementing or the passion power project that you're looking forward to make it big. How you can really look at it in a very calculative approach to figure out whether it's the right time to build the investment for it, whether it's the right time to pour your hard earned wealth into it to make that passion power project as your startup. So a lot of key segments that we're looking to unfold today: how we are going to do the product market fit and why it is important, how this really resonate with your side gig, and what not to do and what to do importantly. That's what we are looking forward to unfold in this series. So if you are up for it and if you want to dive deep, do tune to this particular episodes of Bootstrap Banter series product market fit. We call it as a PMF, and it's going to be a PMF funda podcast today. So, well, all you know is about, any project or any startup that one is unfolding. One has to measure it in a very right approach, whether that there is a need, whether there is a problem exist in the market that's going to solve through your passion project or that's going to solve through your side gig. That's a very important step when you're looking forward to put your time, energy, and of course the wealth into it. Or I don't know if you're looking forward to onboard investors that early to start your side gig. So all these resources that we're looking forward to invest, it has to make some sense, it has to make some deal out of it, and that is where the product market fit comes into the picture. There are many examples that I can absolutely talk about if one hasn't done the right product market fit and how things have failed, starting with content campaigns to even the products that have come into the market by pouring huge energy, time, and investments to it. We will definitely derive from those failure stories what not to do. But why don't I, talk about some failure stories that we can absolutely focus and see how they really failed, and what is really was missing in them, and then from there we can deep dive and figure out what needs to be done. Starting with a very resonating example of content marketing that McDonald had started in 2012. I don't know how many of you really remember about hashtag MacD stories. That was a very big trending hashtag that had came into the picture. Well, it was McDonald's own launch campaign, which was over Twitter, asking people to share their positive experiences with the MACD and saying that, hey, why don't you tweet saying that I love McDonald's, I love their Sundays, I love their coffees, or I love their burgers, or whatever it was, saying hashtag MACD stories. Or, for example, if your kids are eating chicken nuggets, they're getting nice toys as a gift, as a part of it, and there's the good meal to take on the drive through mission. It's gonna be a hashtag MACD stories showing your kids' picture and then showing that the lot of smiley faces, how the drive-through experiences has turned very positive, have that it has saved time. At the same time, the cranky kid has become happy. Something like that was an outcome that they were looking forward. What happened exactly is a very negative sentiment that boasted through the hashtag MacDistilleries. Instead of positive stories instead of positive stories narrated by users actually flooded with the Twitter saying the how bad the food experiences are, how poor the services are, the health concerns that would derive from the McDonald's food, and a lot of other stuff that MACD had not imagined. Rather, their marketing team had not imagined that this would come out, and it was a ill effect of that hashtag MACD stories that actually started trending, and it became a very negative campaign. The campaign, which was supposed to derive a lot of stories, actually overtaken by the complaints, turning the PR disaster for the MACD to handle. So, what are we looking out from this campaign? Well, MACD absolutely failed to predict how users, how their own buyers will use this hashtag negatively, leading to mismatch between their ideal outcome and what the market could actually deliver. This showed the importance of understanding audience sentiments. Before launching user generated this content campaigns, they should have taken some feedbacks from their own users to figure out what's going really in it. How MACD consumers are looking at the MACD in recent times. It was a time when the food industry was evolving. It was a time that the food consumer was becoming more and more aware about the food, the nourishment, the type of ingredients that the restaurants are using. So there was a lot beneath it. And by the same time, Chipotle had started advertising about how they are giving organic meal to the consumer in a very affordable costing. So that was one of the failure that, the MACD absolutely didn't realize at that time, which really was a disaster campaign. So, why am I telling you this? Before launching even a simple campaign, if they would have tried to do the product market fit, whether this is the right time to open such kind of hashtags, whether this is the way we should derive the campaign, or there is a storyline, or there is a the wholesome picture that you give it to your audience and say that, hey, this is what we are going to use this particular hashtag all about, and then could have started trending, would have made a huge impact and a difference to the campaign that they actually failed with. So when this came, what really resonated to me was, oh, although this was a small content campaign ad that wanted to trade, that wanted to take MACD at certain bigger summits, what actually happened was they could have done little more analysis. They would have retrospected about it, how this campaign should have been launched, why we want to launch, whether our consumer is really in line with the launch, and whether they would be like really driving the outcomes that we are looking forward to. If they would have understood the market, there would have been clear problem solution fit kind of a campaign, or the timing and the competition that they were looking at would have been right at that point of time. First of all, as I said, like there was a lot of competitive, the food producers in the market. There were good franchises in the market giving the good quality food for similar cost, and people were willing to shell off little bit more cost versus the MACD. So at that time, I think they could have, judged the timing and a competition. And again, the customer centric development was absolutely missing there. Ironically, they did not took the customer feedback to validate whether their assumptions with the MACD that they were going, for example, the pricing and the features that they were offering in the food, was something that is balanced out for the customer to actually put forward with. And they absolutely failed to realize that how many complaints the MACD were already getting in versus saying the statement with certain stock amounts or certain highs that the MACD had achieved. So I think these were all the trolling reasons why it didn't go well. It is a perfect example to view as a product market fit, that how it absolutely failed. So I think that gave us a pretty elaborative stage to understand why it is important to do the product market fit of anything that you do in the market. So what is important here is a USP. What is your unique selling point that is going to distinguish yourself? And we call it as a Sudarshan Chakra. If you are from the Indus Valley, and if you are a little bit aware about the Indian mythology, then there is something called as Sudarshan Chakra that the god Krishna has it. And it's a very unique weapon that he only possesses. There are many gods, they possess, everybody has some or the other unique weapons, although they are capable of fighting with a lot of demons and a lot of intolerable existence. Although they have the power to do that, there is something unique how they're dealing with it. And that is we called as a Sudarshan Chakra. So any product that you're planning to launch in the market, or any established product that you want to revamp through any of the campaigns, figure out what is your Sudarshan Chakra with that product and with the market. That's a problem that you're planning to solve. Are there enough weapons available that are going to solve the same problem? Then all the gods would have been treated the same way. Whereas that's not this case, right? If you look at the mythological god figures and relate the community around that, or figure out the problem space that each lord was solving, you would clearly get the philosophy of this product market fit. We go to Lord Ganesh for seeking a brain and seeking what we called as the Buddhi Devata, and we go to Lord Shiva to seek a power of transformations. We go to Durga Mata to get the strength, and the Shakti, what we call as a Lakshmi, to for the wealth. So there are very specific problems that our Hindu mythology gods are also solving, and so does different mythology gods. If you can look at, and you can literally predict that, oh my god, the way this was structured, the way the sculptures were written, the way this was imbibed on our hearts, was a very technical way to look at that there is a specific problem, there is a specific solution, and there is a unique way to adopt this solution, and why it is only XYZ gods that we're looking out to get this problem solved, finding out solutions through the common methodology. So as we discuss that, as we look at these Hindu mythological god figures and some of these rituals that every individuals are following on separate days, or separate festivals to find out health and also the brain, and going and working out in the society in a very different functional way in order to complete your entire life cycle. At some point of time you're focusing on your studies, at some point of time you're focusing on creating wealth, at some point of time you're looking to donate wealth, at some part of time you're looking to do more of a community service and get that god gestures within you. So what is it that our mythological scriptures have actually told us is the product market fit at the different segments, how the consumer should be acting at that point of time. This is the exact principle we are looking at when we are looking to see how the product market fit analysis fit into our startups, fit into our startup gigs, or any passion power projects that we are looking forward to mold. Exact philosophy of finding the right problem, giving the right solution, and adding your USP or Sudarshan Chakra is what we say. So this is where the niche comes into the market. At particular time when people are studying, they go to Lord Ganesha. Anytime, whatever that they want to inaugurate, they pray Lord Ganesha. But after that, there are different gods that comes to rescue us. Similarly, when we derive our narrative of finding the right niche for our product, finding the right customer for our product, what we say is identifying your customer is very important in this segment, and then finding your exact smallest and the tiniest problem that you want to look at and give the solution to. That is very much a key metrics part that comes into the picture to to guess an idea whether your side gig is going to be successful or no, and also giving the solution that's needed the most in a very innovative way. These are like three important pillars on which the product market fit should also sit on. And you can ask yourself various questions, whether how would you feel if your solution does not exist in the market today to solve a particular problem, and if that is not the case, what the world will look like. Is it the same that today that is operating, or is it gonna get far better that's operating? There are always scales to measure. There is a good test called as Sean Ellis test if you go in a very technical route, which is the test that we're looking at. There is a Sean Ellis test that talks about how would you feel if you could no longer use this product, how your platform is solving, or how your product is solving the problem that exists in the market today. Or let's say if there is no solution, how every individual is, haphazardly looking at that problem and trying to make situations work. And that is one of the important survey that one should be taking to figure out whether your solution, whether your side gig, whether your passion power project is really worth pursuing. This is kind of a litmus test that one has to do it and figure out whether that data that you gather through this is gonna give you a customer retention. Customer retention could be in any forms. You can treat your customers who are literally consuming your content, or you can treat your customers who are actually buying your product by shelling out their own money. Maybe it could be a SaaS product that they're consuming. Maybe it's a one time user payment that you're looking forward with the customer life cycle, or it's a feedback loop through which you are trying to guess, how your product is, moving further, adopting further, and where it should be shaped up. So that's a Sean Ellis test, which is a very popular method to gauge whether your product market fit is right. And then, it kind of gives you the right metrics to retrospect and go further in deep. There are various ways to do the surveys. We will be talking about the surveys for sure, like, what type of surveys one can, initial stages, can be consumed, and then do the right market validation for it. But before that, let me tell you the story of, certain product market fits that really went well. And there are many examples to talk about. How about I talk about the Dropbox? That was a very innovative solution that had come into the picture, and it actually created a huge success through the product launch as well. If you must have analyzed, what happened with the Dropbox, at that time people had no clue how the storage would have worked. Dropbox, I feel, was the one product who identified the market in a right time. They launched the product at the right time. Although when they launched the product didn't have the right features, the user interface was not that great at the time when they really launched it. However, still users adopted it. Many of them could relate to that storage service that they were looking forward to provide to the consumer through online files. The idea behind where the mobile devices itself were not having the right storage, and by then the digitalization had started. People were having digital photos and a lot of data to save, a lot of files that the software industry could gather. There were many things that could actually shape up the world. From floppy to disk to Dropbox, the journey had even captured the students level consumer to even professionals who want to save certain data on their files, and even the entertainment and the other type of a family segment customer that they could capture, where they want to save their kids pictures, their family pictures, and a lot of memories through digitization. And there were methods that were available through scanning and other ways that had came into the picture. So it was a very right time to launch the product. And the way they launched it also was, they kind of used the early user feedback. It kind of had a beta version to gather the feedback, and it improvised its product based on the real user experience. That was one of the biggest success of the Dropbox I felt that had happened. The team kept focusing on a very simple solving the problem solving approach and syncing the files across multiple devices at the time. Also, it went viral, through the referrals. So they launched in a very innovative way. There was a market need that they identified, but at the same way, how about we start referring the program and incentivizing users to share the services by offering some extra storage? That means some giving some of the other incentives that makes a real user to refer their people and grow the user base. So I think this was another success metrics to look at while they launched and while they wanted to ongoingly adapt the customer base. They had done that absolutely right. So that referrer and the referee kind of a model made it huge for the Dropbox to get adopted worldwide. And the strategy really allowed them to scale quickly to the word of mouth. And What I see is, like, technically, if you look at it, you can have many metrics to look at, whether your website is hitting multiple users, whether your channel has n number of subscribers. But what it sells is the actually converting customer. And that's what the referrals actually did. The real user referring to the another real user, or the potential user to convert, was a big hit to me. Rather than Dropbox, it could have gone with the social campaigns. I mean, at that time, not much of a social campaigns could have worked because of a lot of adaptability to the social platforms at the time of Dropbox launch. But the email marketing from the real users itself really worked well, and it went viral. And there was a clear target audience that the Dropbox targeted to the early adopters. When initially it started, it was developers and the tech enthusiasts that they actually focused. As I said, from floppy to disk and the disk to online Dropbox storage. That was a huge move, and everybody was looking forward to consume their own storage that way, and have it accessible so that the remote teams, the global teams, could work smoothly and swiftly. So it was a very clear problem that they wanted to solve for a clear audience. And then, of course, then quickly recognize that the product has a value and help spread the mainstream users in a very different fashion. And the rest is the history that the Dropbox created. So if you focus on creating a simple, reliable product that solved a widespread problem, starting with the file sharing and storage, and grew rapidly by leveraging its referral program, and then user itself, kind of gave enough hints to the market and to the product, saying that these could be the potential areas where user is ready to adopt. And that's when the Dropbox actually revamped the strategy of relaunching, and they kept relaunching. There was a continuous loop. If you could look at that story, I think that's a great way to figure out what's happening behind. So when I talk about these success stories and also the failed stories, you must have derived that there is a clear skeleton by adopting any side gig to make it a mainstream. And that skeleton, if we follow, it's gonna create wonders for you for sure. Of course, your poor product positioning can absolutely kill you. So make sure that there is a clearly articulating problem and a clear solution that your product is coming out as a hero to it. So the product fit, when we are gauging the product positioning, is a flip side of the coin that should also be looked at. Product positioning, if goes wrong, then adopting the product by the users can struggle for a long time. Startups often focus, or any side giggers or the passion power projects, they focus on building the product. So more energy goes there versus communicating its benefits to the users and the uniqueness that it may have. And also the consequences that the potential customers don't really understand why they need to, have this product or in place. First of all, we need to create the need, as you say, for your product. Although it is solving the right problem that exists in the market, probably there are far superiors sometimes. But if the product positioning fails, then everything tears apart. Although you have the best of the best products, people are not going to adopt to it. And also, when you're focusing too much on the product development and not on the positioning, what is going to really happen is your product can become a far superior in the process. And how to use that product is where your user or where your consumer starts lacking, because it's not that handy, because it's not usable enough for them. Again, the product market fit falls apart, and the consumer who is supposed to consume that product is not gonna be treating it in a right fashion. So these are like two important pillars that when we are looking at to go forward. Pricing is another part that we'll definitely talk about. But before we go to the pricing, let's figure out how really the product market fit and the target audience that you're looking forward to relate, how you are gonna treat that, what are some right tools, the technical ways to find out your surveys are going right, your really having the right metrics to gauge around and validating against those metrics, or the concept of collecting data of the surveys, and then providing the right services are in fit or no. So this is one of the core thing that the product market fit should be doing. And as I said, living in today's world, which is a very fascinating world, on a click of a phone, on a click of a link, everybody can do wonders. And what are those engaging ways to do that? Absolutely, a social media. When it comes down to your product market fit, before even you start developing a product or even think of investing in the development of a product, you should be really investing a very peanut amount, say 0.5% or even a 0.1% to begin with, through social media ads campaigns. The blogs, the survey forms is a very effective and a very low cost way to do the litmus test of your product, whether it is worth investing in the MVP or minimal viable product that you are looking forward to unfold through a side gig, through a passion powered product. Be it in any field, it is a skeleton that we're talking about. And there are some easy breakdowns we can treat. And here are the practical tools. First is a social media campaigns. Use the Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or even Instagram stories to ask direct questions to your consumers about your product concept. Hey, would you be, having this X problem? Are you willing to do Y and Z? Collect through the Google Forms type of forms, or have some links that gives them incentives after that, and gauge what are the initial interest that you're gathering. So when you're actually creating the service, what is important is when you're featuring your product is giving the relatable ideas about a problem. For example, you're trying to create some mineral water solution. What are some existing problems that the people are facing with the mineral waters that is available? Is it a cost? Is it a bottle packaging? Is it a accessibility? Or is it a pricing that you're solving? Because there are already products that are available which are giving people a mineral water. What is unique to your solution? If you discuss about that unique solution in a problem space matter, then it's going to relate to the people. If you say that, oh, say the Bisleri is costing you a $1 when you just grab a single bottle, and when you buy a crate of Bisleris, it's going to be much cheaper. So, are you solving the problem of a single bottle consumer, or are you solving a bulk user consumer? Just figure out that and narrate your campaign accordingly and see whether people are willing to get it. Because many a times that is what the exact problem you want to solve. That's the smallest niche you want to focus. And you want to focus only on the travelers who are not willing to buy the bulk market, bulk products, but just willing to buy a few. And are you in that space? So figure out your space and figure out what is your USP and derive the survey or derive the emotions accordingly while creating the campaign. Then, of course, when you're taking the survey, create a poll, a simple poll. If you feel that the survey is taking a long for people to click and fill out, and don't make your service too mundane of asking 10 questions at a time. Make it sweet and simple. Make it 2 to 3 questions that people can just click as a checkbox, click as a radio box, and then just give you one liner if it's needed. And don't even opt for that in the initial stages. You know what? Because people really don't want to type along, or just provide the voice notes as a survey. And then, if you're looking forward for the note section, provide some incentives for people who are actually filling up that notes, because they're taking out their lifetime to give you a time and give you the analysis of what you're looking out, which is gonna achieve your success. So share your success with them starting from the beginning and see what it achieves. If you say that, hey, if you fill up the notes and give us some additional inputs, you are entitled to enter into the raffle that we're doing by default. And then there is a huge price to it. A simple prize that can come in a goodie way, and then the goodie can be a remembrance way, or simple way to say that you will be an early beta user, And through that, for a year of a service is what you will be getting it for free of cost for you and your family, or just as you as an individual, with the particular coupon code that we'll be giving you. So some innovative ways to look at and find out the surveys works out for you, irrespective of just talk good in about your product or problem space that you're solving. If you even more go deep and say the authenticate responses are entitled to get something by default, that's when you're opening up people's heart. And that's where you are actually giving them a one level up incentive that's gonna derive you a more product market fit. You don't want to go to someone who is not going to be your user and conduct a poll. You're not going to get the right way. So, again, the way you're deriving the metrics shouldn't be a metrics to just show up, but a metrics with which you can do the real time conversions. So you have to make sure you're going to the right forums. Suppose your user is gonna be a LinkedIn user, then deriving the polls on a Facebook campaign ad or the Insta campaign ad is absolutely futile. So you have to first figure out your target audience resides where in terms of a social market, and also in terms of consuming the content, because there is same user going to different platforms to consume different sort of an entertainment or different sort of an insight. And if you're failing at that first phase, how it's going to work? And also adding an incentivized idea with advertising in a right way to get the authentic feedbacks can go a long way. Also, it can build a right relationship. See, having a focused and a small customer segment but an impactful customer segment gives you a far upper hand in the product market fit gauge versus driving a large audience. Look at any big brands that you're looking at, starting with Burberry to even Louis Vuitton for that matter. If you're really looking forward to consume their products, their customer segments are very creamy layer segment and a very few. But the price point at which they're creating the market, probably they're meeting the odds with the product production and also creating a statement that they really wanted to derive. What happens with the Starbucks coffee? It is adaptable to all the masses, right? It is adaptable to all the classes. And what's the style in it? The style in it is grabbing everyday Starbucks coffee gives you what? Right? So that's the statement, a fashion statement that people want to hold, that I have this Starbucks logo coffee in my hand and I act as a creamy customer, although it's at a very affordable level. Right? So that's the statement, that's the emotion you want to derive through your product. That's the problem of having every morning coffee and giving you a day fresh start. That's the picture that you're looking at. And of course, the fashion figure that comes behind with the working class methodology or working class mental fitness, that is where you are looking out to derive that statement. So engage your communities in a very relevant groups and figure out whether that's the right conversational way to go forward. So start about a group. There are various other ways also. You can start a campaign by going onto the social media and blogging. Write in Medium, write on LinkedIn blogs, and see whether you are able to convert your consumer as a subscriber or as an add it to your joining wait list for the product launch, adding to your beta user customer list, adding to your feedback customer list. You really need not be that tech savvy when you are opening up such polls or blogs or even to the surveys that you're planning to conduct. Nowadays there are immense amount of AI tools that can help you narrate your narration and create this campaign. All you need is the advertising budget probably for the promotion purpose, and even to start small, go to the small groups first and see whether this is working, and then go and invest in the ads and see whether that's going to work further, because you want to create a right litmus test by clicking with the small groups to see whether your survey is right product to even attract someone, or you want to be more innovative there. Find out little bit more on the platforms that can help you do that and achieve far better versus hiring some digital marketing agencies to create your strategy and campaigns at a very initial stage. Of course, it makes sense for people who have the budget to it, or people who are looking to play big in the market and they have already capital to shell out. But we are talking here all of you, the passion empowered people who want to start their side gigs and have little bit of time in a hand, and probably starting at a very primary stages, having not much of a capital or not having much of a investment backups to play that big. So these are like some of the very easy, relatable, and a very helpful to do list that everybody can implement. I say it as a product market fit DIY that you can do it absolutely yourself. And there are some teasers. I mean, you can go even more creative if you have some of the technical skills on the digital marketing, or maybe your friends are ready to help you, or maybe you can hire some student interns in the mass media production, and who can help you out creating your concept teaser campaigns. Design these teasers or the post and the ads showcasing a little bit of a problem your product is addressing, or a little bit of a problem that your passion side gig is planning to address. It could be anything, a content that you're creating, or it could also be a product that you're planning to develop, or it is actually a technical platform that you're looking forward that whether there is an early user that's going to address your problems. So this potential solution that you're planning to execute through whichever means don't have to be show the actual product, but probably you can create some nice visuals around, a small tweaky video about, or just going live on the Facebook, Insta, or LinkedIn, or Twitter, narrating about what it's gonna be. So in order to relate to the space, let me take an example about a food truck. What is the food truck actually do? Food truck solves the problem being mobile and coming to your destination and offering you a good quality food at a very affordable cost. That's the problem space that the food trucks actually solve. But then, what is you as a product marketeer or as a product producer are going to do with the food truck? Let's say you want to open up any food truck business and you want to just curate 3 to 4 dishes. Or first of all, you need to make sure that USP stands with these 4 dishes that you can give out to your customer on the go basis by going with the food truck. Your USP could be a cleanliness that your food truck is bringing, the price affordability, and the very important Sudarshan Chakra or the USP that will hold in your hands is the type of a food and the dish that you're serving. Today's food trucks are not serving that at an affordable cost, or they don't have it on their menu, and you're doing that. You're targeting a very specific niche in terms of a customer. Are you solving the problem for the young students who are on the campus? Are you solving a problem for the working professionals who are at the offices? Or are you solving the problem for, the kind of a footfall that's going to come through the park? So you have to find out that first. And then the second of all is a geography that you would like to target. Are you targeting a particular South Asian public, or are you targeting only the Asian segment, or are you targeting the European segment? The geography wise, which food that you're bringing into their emotions? Are you making some fusion dishes that's going to adopt to the next level of immigrants? Or are you solving the problem for the exact resident, the native resident who are actually missing those emotions? Because the food can go a very long way. So figure out that emotions that you're looking to solve, and conceptualize your teaser those kind of a way. Track your likes, shares, comments, and the various obvious conversation metrics, whether your ClickUps are landing to the landing pages, and are they willing to do the sign ups for beta users. So when you're creating these teasers and sharing these forms, ads, and number of clickable links for the user to go Make sure there is no rabbit hole through which you are driving the customer 10 steps ahead. Make it short, 1 to 2 steps, maximum 3 steps, and you should be done to get your output. And the way you're deriving these teasers, there has to have a common goal. Measure engagement levels or assess whether your solutions is really resonating with the audience before committing to the product development. So your goal of all these campaigns should be clear. Through my polls, I'm just gathering whether there is enough users to adopt this. Through my surveys, I am really looking forward to get the authenticate feedback that what really resonates with them the most, or maybe the pricing points that you're looking forward to derive. And then, of course, with the teasers or any sort of more time consuming stuff that you're giving it to users, showing that the engagement level that it is building, whether it is really resonating with the problem emotion space with your target audience. So your goal should be clear before opening up any of these campaigns to analyze your product market fit. Next is, of course, the pre launch. The building a pre launch social media page can give you a very, very extended hands on your product market fit. Set up a dedicated social media profiles or the pages for your upcoming Twitters and see whether your content speaks to the problem that is ready to solve. Are there any user testimonials that you're gonna get? Are there any hypothetical use cases if you project there is any anticipation through your content consumers is getting built? Is there any engaging format like, stories, reels, articles through which you can educate your audience on the problems and the spark interest in your solutions? So see and gauge, find out you have the convertible followers, comments and the DMs that are gonna, come out or flooding with the inquiries for early indication whether your product market fit is really a fit. And build accordingly and determine with the quality feedback. Don't go with the numbers because sometimes quantitative measures can absolutely be a failure, but the qualitative measures of these metrics can fetch you a far ahead of a result. And even while you're talking to your investors, that can go in a long way. That instead of saying, hey, I have 1,000 subscribers on my channel, and that shows that what I'm building is what people are looking forward to consume, versus saying that I have 1,000 hours of watching time every day, and my 90% of the viewers or the content consumers are not yet subscribers, but looks like there is enough potential. If I bring out this product to the market, it's gonna be hit. Of course, with the pricing plays a lot of role in the product market fit. And as I always say, in the product market fit, your pricing is one of the dimension that shouldn't stray away or that shouldn't be hold till the time you launch the product, because any service should be comparable in the market, although it's giving you a upper hand, and it should be accessible to the users that you're looking forward to drive. So if you are absolutely targeting a creamy layer customer as a Burberry or Louis Vuitton or many other fashion brands have done it, or even certain amount of products which everybody is consuming now, the Apple products, which are far superior in the price market according to other products that are laid out, but there is a clear unique proposition that the Apple and all these segments have done it, where people are willing to shell out an extra cost. I use iPhone because it protects my data, it shields my data from others, and the third thing is it is having a lot of features that other phones do not have. Also, it becomes a fashion statement if I have it, and it kind of gives another person a perception that I'm a creamy user. So, what problem and what emotions you're attaching to your product plays a very vital role in terms of a consuming also. Think about all this and then move ahead and create the wave accordingly so that your product fits into that right price point. Or if you're adding little bit of an extra dollar to it, are you really asking users to put out for something that's really valid in need for them? It shouldn't happen that you're just talking about the packaging and then the core problem that the product is solving is absolutely not worth it. There are many Android phones that can do wonders, and there are people who are looking out to adopt it. But the Android phone at a lower cost or at a similar cost, having amazing camera abilities, can shell out to the youngsters, can go to the influencers, can, ready to be adopt by a lot of people who are looking to capture visuals. And for them, they really understand the clear need of having an Android phone versus providing an Android phone with a lot of development features, a good capacity to hold multiple apps, or it doesn't get heat when it's playing on a video games. So are we solving the youngsters problem through camera as a USP or through video games as a USP? Is your OS, the Android OS, is actually worth of using video games there for a longer time, and you are capturing that youth audience? So you have to be very clear with your unique propositions that we are looking out, right? And also make sure that when you are looking out to campaign these surveys, polls, or even the visuals as a conceptualizing teasers that we say, you can make use of influencers that are out there, thought leaders which are out there. Maybe it is a social channels who are deriving in the same segment, with deriving in the same niche. You want to go to their podcast and talk about your products, or maybe you want to go to their social medias and derive your ads, because you know that you are capturing the right audience there. Although it's small, it's still worth capturing that, because you're gonna get a milestone from that input. And look at that as a worth investment, and going as an alliance, putting down the cost to that is absolutely less of a hassle to you versus more of an hassle on finding out for the ad campaign budget, going behind that, analyzing it, versus spending a half of an amount of an ad to these influencers or align with their referrals, and targeting their audience that they have already built and have established a trust through the thought leadership, can fetch you far apart. So think about partnering with an influencer. It's a very smart move that the industry is now taking. If you can look at many products, they are actually targeting the thought leaders and the influencers in the industry to talk about their product ideas, run their polls, and find out the surveys or mock-ups, how it is validating from the trusted voice in the industry and the community responses. It's a very big segment. So currently we're talking about the conversational podcasts that are running. There are immense amount of startup founders that I see are seeking a Passionate Pulse podcast, because they know that the Passionate Pulse podcast audience is resonating with their startups, is resonating with the change makers idea, is resonating with the passion driven, social impact driven, and the community impact driven, the inspirational products, the inspirational stories behind the startup is ready to consume. And that's where I see that the Passionate Pulse podcast, I'm getting a lot of guests because they want to talk about their passion interest stories and also sell their product in a swift way. So this is a worth marketing tool to look at. You really don't have to go on a bigger consumer markets where you will have to shell out a lot of ad budget. So for example, lately when I was looking out the algorithms with the Meta, the Insta and a Facebook ad works. But when it works, when you have a huge budget, because right now every Tom, Dick, and Harry is ready to shell on the marketing budget of a $20 a day. That's not gonna give them a premium league of advertising and targeting the market that often. I myself have experimented this out for some other product that we were looking out for product ideation and gauging the product market fit, and that didn't really work. But when the same $20 a day budget increased to $200 a day for entire month, have created a massive impact and driven the right impact or the measures that we were looking out on a metric scale to gauge. So think about you spending $200 a day for 30 days, how much it cost you. it cost you almost $6,000 a month versus going somewhere half the budget and is going to solve you a problem that you're really looking forward to drive. Isn't it worth it? It first of all takes out a lot of hassle to create your content, to create the right visuals, to run the campaign, track the campaign, versus going to someone and getting that partner alliance and figuring out and getting the right metrics behind from somebody who is actually analyzing it, and then providing your survey polls, then providing your survey forms, then providing your concept teaser to consume and get into the landing pages is far more superior we are looking at versus driving with the other rabbit hole that on a solo journey you could take. So think about the collaborations, this influencers market, the podcasting market that exists today, and there are many other markets that with the blog series, with the newsletter campaigns, with the email list campaigns that you can go ahead. I am absolutely saying that there is an upper hand when you derive your own email list, but there is also an upper hand when you're collaborating with existing email list with the targeted audience that exists in the market. Be it a very small list, but it's a convertible list, is what you're looking at. So when you go to any marketer and when they say that, oh, our newsletters are deriving wonders, ask for their insights. What is your newsletter is really capable of doing? Are they capable of giving you the landing pages input data? Are they capable of reaching out to the public, or are they capable of giving you the conversion in the market that you are exactly looking at? So find out your stages where you stand today, what you're looking forward to drive for your point B, and see whether that step is measurable and is aligned with your way to go forward to it. So a simple way, if I look at how this influencer philosophy can work, when I was thinking deep down that what is that I can provide an example that exists in different markets, in the spiritual world, in the community world, to drive the positive impact, and it kind of resonated with the scents. The scents that we see in every region, in every country, are nothing but an influencer of the particular philosophy that they are deriving or have adopted to, and how they are influencing the market or how they are influencing their audience is through different means. Of course, one is through their discourses, one is through their poems, literature. Another way is actually going and using the medias and talking about it, their philosophies of spirituality and how it is relevant today, and giving the same core product that exists with the relevant times how to adopt in a different way, and giving a different vision to adopt that. So that's what saints are actually doing with our mythology or with our spiritual philosophies that exist, and tweak the stories and give you the right glasses to look into it. Similar way, the influencers and the partners in various niche and industries can create wonders to you. So think about it. It's a very interesting partnership to go ahead. So having said that, I must talk about the Passionate Pulse podcast. Passionate Pulse podcast derives a lot of guests, their stories, inspirational, motivational, and talk about what they have done to change their lives, what they have done through their passion to create a huge impact on the community, and what are they looking forward to derive through their existing startups, products that are available in the market, and what is the emotional connect that they are bringing on. So if you like to be a guest on the Passionate Pulse podcast, please go out to passionatepulse.com and fill out become a guest form. Go to the guest segment and see whether you want to be a guest, or feel free to WhatsApp, text, or call on 341-209-0102 to become a Passionate Pulse podcast guest and talk about your product, talk about your passion project, talk about you being a change maker, what it has really got you, and get your right audience, get your right survey incentives that you're willing to get, right measurable metrics, and right collaboration to get your product market fit, to validate your ideas, give you the sociable way to test your ideas and the real customer feedback to develop your MVP while building your community, your product concept, and engage it in a very targeted way. So let me know how this episode has resonated with you. Has it given you enough ideation to refine your ideas further, to validate your ideas further for putting your right investment and time to it? Or also to, adding more resources to it. Ensure that you are solving a real problem with the viable market fit versus, just creating something that is not going to be sellable. Today, we talk about the product market fit ideas and some of the innovative ways through which you can gather the product market fit. Let me know what you are implementing in your own side gig, a passion power project that you are looking to drive. And I'm here to help if you need any assistance. We absolutely provide you the strategic guidance through it. If you need any teams to help out create such innovation ideas, we help you strategize. Call upon the Bootstrap Banter series and talk about it. Go to passionatepulse.com, feedback form, contact form, and help me give you more input. This is Pranali signing off from Passionate Pulse Podcast, and this is a Bootstrap Banter series to drive your startup in a very passionate way. Thank you.